All right, what's up?
How's it going?
So, this is the third. My name's Javon, and this is the third one I'm recording tonight. So, if I look tired, and if my eye looks weird like this the whole time, I don't know why it looks like that. Like, I feel like my eyes are pretty open. I think it's just the light. But either way, my name's Javon. This is my boy.
Zach?
Yep. He's my cousin, and let's talk it out. Okay, first question. What is your best pickup line?
Okay, so a lot of pickup lines are definitely a lot. Some of them are a little, pushy.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
This one's kind of old, kind of classic, but it's pretty smooth. You ready?
Yep.
Do you have a pencil?
No.
Say yes. Do you have a pencil?
Do I have a pencil?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I want to erase your past and write our future.
Okay. What's mine? See, my problem is I've never invested in any pickup lines because I don't know how to I don't know. I've never had a use for pickup lines.
Right.
But let me see if I can come up with one off the dome. Are you the sun? Because your smile's so bright, I can barely see. Okay, next.
All right. So I'm gonna ask some pretty deep questions here. Some to make you think a little bit.
Okay.
Do we have free will, or is everything predestined?
That's a good question. I'd say that everything is, according to Supernatural, everything is predestined. And if you somehow do break free will, say you're supposed to die, as soon as you're born, you have a date and a way that you're supposed to die. If you somehow, some way, were to avoid that death, I feel like it gets passed on. Just it screws up everything. For example, Dean dies and then finds a way to come back to life. Well, now since he came back to life, somebody else has to die because there's supposed to be one less person in the world. So I'd say you think you have free will, but you don't.
I respect that. I think my answer would be something like, I think there's a mix, honestly. I think your main storyline to your life is already, predestined in the spiritual realm. But I think that there's like a video game, how there's the main quest, the main goal of the game. But then there's side quests. I feel like in life there's these side quests where you do have free will and you can choose to do, whatever it is. But I feel like the main story, the main path and all that stuff is kind of predetermined.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Less philosophical question. What do you think the first person to milk a cow was trying to do?
Oh.
So,
I could be funny with it, but in a serious answer, I would say, I would think that they would see that there's a baby calf and drinking from there.
But think about it. It's not like udders look like boobs.
Not at all. No.
Bro was looking at a cow drinking milk out of this udder and was just like, I bet that tastes good. I need to get me some of that. And then he just went up to it and talked about something. And then
I feel like the real question is, how'd they get the milk? Did they put their mouth to the...
That's what I think. I think that somebody was like, we just gonna full send it. see what happens. And then they got kicked in the face.
That's gotta be scary.
And then they're like, all right, there's got to be another way to do it.
Right.
Like, they probably tasted it a little bit and they got kicked and they're like, ooh, that just slapped.
It was worth.
But then
being
they were
kicked in the
like,
face.
we gotta find another way to do it.
Right.
And so then they were like, so like if you're sucking on it, you can like create the same, you know, like the same action by like so then they just start jacking the nipple and then milk comes out. That's how it happened.
It's crazy.
So I think that the first person just got like really.
They probably died. They might have died. Maybe back in the tribal days, maybe, you know, they if you didn't follow along the tribe's rules or whatever, you had to be the person to go test something new to benefit the tribe. Because a lot of, like, I mean, back in the early days, I mean, we didn't have Google to find out what was poisonous, what was, you know, what would hurt us.
That makes sense.
So like if say you know, criminal justice, they just be like, hey, we need something to, you know, benefit the tribe. We don't know if it's gonna kill you. Go test it. You fucked up. Now go put your life at risk for the tribe.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. Let's see if I can pull it. All right. What do you think the goal is of humanity? Like just, I mean, there is I know a religious answer to that, but outside of that, push that aside. What is the main goal of humanity? What is our purpose here on Earth?
So as Americans, obviously we all like live by like the American dream. I think it's like freedom, prosperity, and something else. Like just basically everybody being able to like have free will, do what they want, believe what they want, within reason, and thrive as a country. But that's more of like as a united nation, and like obviously not everybody across the world believes that. I feel like in America it's a goal to make everybody across the world like on the same page as us. But like humanitarian, in a humanitarian aspect, I feel like having it, somebody who's like really into like balance, but I feel like the goal for somebody who's a humanitarian is like for there to be a balance, but like an even happy balance between nature and like civilization, you know, both of us being able to coexist in the same place without one or the other taking over. So like right now, you know, we got all these damaging substances that are ruining like our ecosystem, our
we're essentially
our ozone,
creating our own natural selection.
Yeah, we're doing so much that it's pushing towards like ending ourselves. And so I think that there's obviously a big group of people who believe. Come on,
not Danny. No.
Come on, Danny. Stop sleeping. A big group of people who are trying to like reduce the damage that we've caused, right, to bring it back to a more like coexistence. Like that's why they got like electric cars now, and plants are only allowed to like big industrial plants are only allowed to put out a certain amount of like carbon dioxide, and I think that's what it is, right, that they pump out, like a certain amount of harmful gases into the air, like stuff like that. I mean, so I think as human interaction goes, everybody being able to live a free, happy, and comfortable life is like the human goal. But then as far as like humans paired with the world and the environment, it's basically anything and everything being able to live together happy and not have any problems.
I love your answer. It's a great answer. My answer is I feel like that's more of a short-term answer, but I do agree with that, everything you said. I'm thinking more of long term, probably way past our life points. I think like the whole purpose of humanity is to, well, I guess I'll take a step back. What makes us human and what makes us different from, I feel like, animals is, I mean, not just consciousness, but the motivation and knowing what to do to get to what we want, or problem solving. That's what it is. I feel like we are built for problem solving, and that's like kind of what gives us our purpose. And so I feel like our purpose, what was the question? I forgot. It was, what was the goal of humanity? So like, yeah, purpose, goal. The goal of humanity is to, I would think, to expand beyond just Earth. I mean, obviously we gotta take care of it, preserve it, and that's kind of the short-term issue is we do need preserve the Earth, and we need to fix some issues that we have with other people on Earth. But I think our goal is to expand out and learn and then solve and just figure out how the universe works, and not only that, but biologically, I mean, to reproduce. I mean, we already kind of reproduced on Earth a little too much. I think it's time we spread our genetics across the solar system.
You're saying basically we're almost at a point where like it's time to make Earth like Yellowstone National Park.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Go to another planet and colonize another planet.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the technology exists to do that already. It's out there. It's just the big thing is the expense. It's unaffordable.
Yeah, expense and making sure that it's.
The logistics of it too are going to be complex. I mean, like, just because we have the technology doesn't mean that you can easily orchestrate a whole mission to do that.
I mean, we're talking like WALL-E.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is like I was saying, not necessarily in our lifetime, but
yeah, I mean, WALL-E's whole situation was they were going away from Earth so they could be fixed.
Right.
But like we're basically taking that like same concept and going away from Earth to go
to preserve it
to another place to live, basically to inevitably screw that up too.
Well, not necessarily screw that up, but definitely just to keep going until you maximize till you get that what you're talking about, where you're coefficient with the ecosystem that Earth provides. Once you're cohescent with the process of that natural system, then I think it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Because once you overpopulate, then you're screwing stuff up and.
Okay. You're texting somebody, and like nowadays, like back in the type. There's a term for it, and I'm not that young to where I didn't experience this, for anybody who has something to say about it, but where you have to type multiple times on a number on like a flip phone to send a message. So like OK, like just the letters O and K was a way to abbreviate OK, because either you had a certain limit of text or words that you could put in a text message, or you're just trying to be faster. You would shorten up your words. That's where like we got all of our UR instead of spelling out your, and like but nowadays people are more literate when they're texting. I don't know if that's the right word, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So people are more literate and like pay more attention to grammar when texting, because there's no reason not to now. So typically when people say okay now, they type OKAY. If you're talking to somebody and they type the letter O and K to you in response, what does that mean to you, and how does it make you feel?
So that depends on my relationship to that person. If it's a chick
and
they say okay, like the O, just the O and the K, there's no interest.
Yeah.
There's no interest. If it's you, okay.
Yeah, but if you think about me, every time that I've said okay to you, it's been spelled out. If I say,
but the thing is, like, I don't even pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Like, I only pay attention to it when I'm questioning I guess if there's tension or if there's conflict or if there's some interest involved. When I already kind of know, I already know you and I already know that I don't really pay attention. Sorry. I don't really kind of pay attention to the smaller details of those kind of things. So I'm not too nitpicky with that.
If I'm having a conversation with somebody, like almost everybody that I know spells out OKAY, besides like my parents. If I'm having a conversation with somebody and you respond with just O and just K, we got beef now. Like, I guarantee, I'm almost certain in my head that what you said is some smart, like short. You're
like a sassy.
Like,
okay. Okay.
Like
whatever.
Yeah. Like you're throwing some attitude at me, and now I'm upset. And
now I don't even think like that. Like I probably sent you okay, just okay before. I feel
but I know you're weird, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, right. I'm done.
But no, like, I automatically assume that like you're upset, and typically in that situation, I don't really feel like that. Like that response is so disrespectful to me that like I feel like whatever it is that I didn't deserve you to respond like that. And so like I don't outwardly act on that, but I'll definitely like comment on that. I'll be like, you good? Like something you want to talk about? Because
right. Yeah. Now, how much of that do you think is just from overthinking though?
I think a lot of it came from, because I know I didn't used to spell out OKAY, but in previous relationships, I learned very fast that was a way to show frustration through text.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I was saying it depends on the relationship,
especially if it's just the letter K.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You have
definitely
me
okay. Definitely when it's just K, that's
bent.
So I mean, I will say when I'm driving, showing clients houses and stuff. Someone texts me real quick. I will just press the K.
Yeah.
And I actually do kind of even think about that sometimes. After I'm like, I hope they don't think I meant that as disrespectful. Because like when I'm not driving, when I have my own time to make a proper response, and if I just say K, I'm meaning some sass there, like K, whatever.
Yeah, in 90% of situations, there is no reason you should type the word, just the letter K.
Right.
Unless you're obviously upset, and I don't appreciate it in any situation, no matter what I did. Right. I feel like if you're that upset that you're typing the letter K, you should be responding with more. Like you should be telling me what you feel.
Right.
Like
I agree.
If you're just saying K, that means that's a cop out. Like you're just you.
It's just a sassy response. Is what it is. It's like K. Like it's a even a child just like whatever, mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a whatever.
That's that's basically what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if I can get one. Ooh. What age should a person be considered old enough to die of old age? At what age do you think it's okay to die of old age?
I think that you can also ask the same question and relate it to like I feel like the age where you start having to wear diapers. If you're like wear diapers, or you need an assistant in your home, or like anything where parts of your body are failing enough to where you need assistance in some way, like not like you get in an accident and like you get paralyzed, so you need assistance because your leg doesn't work, but like something that's just with time, like a car that dies with old age, you have like the motor eventually, like you could take care of the motor, you could do oil changes at every interval, do all your maintenance, but at some point that motor is just gonna go. It's gonna start losing power. It's gonna start. You're gonna have to start like adding things to it to help it run better, instead of maintaining its current state. Like that's when you would consider a car to be like dying of old age. So I'd say like when you start having to like add assistance to your life to have like in order to function at all, that's when you start to consider dying of old age.
Right. But if you had to put a number on that.
Oh. I'd say it can happen as soon as like 60, but like as soon as you hit 80.
That was me. That was me. My answer. The way I was going to ask it was like, all right. I mean, like I know you had. Oh, I guess I don't know. I'm not quite that guy up, but I know you probably know a couple people that lived beyond 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like across the board, people you just randomly meet of the old people. You commonly will meet 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
Seldom do you meet 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
Rarely do you meet 80 or 90-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like somewhere between that 70 and 80 is like where people end up dying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, like I said, like if you start meeting the requirements of what I was saying.
Right, and I agree with what you said, yeah.
Like
50. I mean, people can,
yeah.
Even at 50, people can start having
Yeah.
their organs shut down. If they didn't take care, like you said, with an engine, if you don't maintain your body and live the healthy lifestyle, your engine's going to break down. Your body's going to break down sooner than...
Yeah. So like, then I'll change it. If you're over 50 and you start needing assistance to live, when you hit 50 and you start needing assistance to live, that's not because of
old age. That's no, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it depends, because if it's like a medical thing, like if it's like some kind of like, I don't know, what do I call them? Not biological.
If it's something you can prevent, like if you were born, well, I'm not 100% like caught up on how diabetes works, but like if you have diabetes at 50, which I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that like that's only like really self-inflicted. Like,
it's genetic. It's genetic, but it's certainly heavily influenced by your diet.
Yeah.
100%. It's absolutely heavily influenced.
So like if you have diabetes because of your diet, or like you smoke your whole life, so you have like, smoker's lung, and you need like a CPAP machine to breathe, or like, stuff that your body parts are worn out because of something that you did.
Right. Something you just kind of abuse your body for.
Yeah, that doesn't count. But like, if something that,
if you ate healthy and you regularly exercised, and you didn't have any genetic dysfunctions, but your body starts shutting down at 50.
Yeah, and that would be considered dying of old age. But like I said, I think you need to meet the requirement of like needing assistance to function normally.
Right.
But regardless of if you need assistance or not, if you hit 80, you're automatically put in the dying of old age category.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. Who came up with the spelling PH? Like, who in their right mind? Yeah, who in their right mind is teaching kids, this is what the letter P sounds like. It sounds like P. This is what the letter H sounds like. It sounds like H. This is what the letter F sounds like. It sounds like F. Now put P and H together and you got F. What? Why?
Dude, the English language is just messed
We
up.
are at a point in our verbal communication to where we could just switch all the PHs to Fs and nobody would care.
No, really. I mean, it'd probably make life a lot easier, honestly.
I'm saying, you know how many people be spelling a word wrong and putting F instead of PH?
Just because that's how it properly sounds like.
That's how it makes sense.
Yeah.
It don't make sense for PH to be a thing.
And there's, I mean, I can't think of it right now, but then there's words where it's the same word, same spelling, but two different meanings,
Yeah,
or in
like-
two different pronunciations?
I was gonna say
I
there,
can't
there,
think of anything right
I was gonna
now.
say there, and there, but
No, those are spelled different. No, but
Those
there's words that are
have-
actually spelled the same that have two different meanings. I don't think there's words out there. And,
so you got like, like different meaning based off of context.
right.
So you got
There's literally a whole category. It's called homonyms.
yeah,
We learned about this in school. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
me either.
Oh,
like-
band. So band can mean
Yeah.
a music, or it can mean a ring,
Yeah.
or it can mean a fat stack of cash. A band.
Yeah,
Then you got bark. Bark on a tree.
dog barks.
Dog barks. Bat. Got the animal.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean that's a little different.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, cause, like,
But I mean, still, it's like why?
yeah, I mean, it's different because a bat and a bat. So a bat as an animal and I was thinking bat and batting, but no, yeah. So they're both nouns, but I mean they could be named different things.
That's
So
what I'm
that
just saying.
makes-
Like why do? I feel like it would just not that it would get miscommunicated because obviously if you're talking about a bat like the animal,
Mhm.
you're obviously not talking about baseball.
And it's very easy to, like, if somebody did get, they'd be like, why are you talking about a baseball bat? Well, actually, a bat is not called a bat. It's called a baseball bat.
Oh, but slang,
But slang made it bat.
right?
Grab me that bat. And then you'd be like, what do you mean a bat? I'm not grabbing an animal. And then you go, no, the baseball bat.
Right.
But, and then band, grab me my wedding band, or go to the marching band, grab me that stack of bands, whatever, So I feel like
Yeah.
those are kind of self-inflicted, but like PH versus F is something that we have no control over. It's just the language.
Yeah. But there's also other ones too. I know there are. There has to
Yeah.
be more out
There
there.
is.
There
I know
has
that
to be.
there's probably
English was my worst grade in high school. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm understanding what you're saying. Not yeah, I relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you got a question?
Oh yeah. Let me see. So, how do you? This kind of ties in, I guess, with the question you had in previous podcast. How do you know you're not crazy and just hallucinating your whole life? Kind of like the Truman Show.
Oh yeah, I read this question. I didn't ask it, but I did read it.
But instead of
online.
kind
Yeah.
of like the Truman Show with the actors, what if it's just a hallucination? What if it none, like again? What if none of it's real? But what if it's literally none of it's real?
It's like the concept of being in a coma and living a life in a coma and then waking up and none of it ever existed.
Yeah.
There's
And-
actually a book about a guy who he lived a whole life in his head, and then at some point in that life, he didn't realize that it was a life in his head. At some point in that life, he was like sitting on his couch watching TV, and he started to see like his lamp morphing into like weird shapes and whatnot, and he thought he was going crazy. And so like he just got super fascinated with this lamp, and it drove him insane inside of his head. And then one day in his head, he went to sleep and woke up, and he was at a college, and there was a bunch of people around him. He was laying on the ground, and paramedics were picking him up off the ground. And they get in his car, they take it to the ambulance, and they're like, all right, do you have any emergency contact? And he's listing off his daughter, his wife of 30 years, and all this stuff. And they're like trying to find these people, and they're like, these people don't exist. His whole life that he thought that he was living happened in the 5 minutes that it took for the paramedics to get there.
Wow.
Inside of his head, he had a whole life and went crazy inside of his head while he was knocked out. And then he wrote a whole book about it.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. But I think the better question is, Well, actually, no, it's not a better question, but I think the question that I saw was asking, would you rather be crazy and know that you're crazy, but not be able to do anything about it, or be crazy and not know that you're crazy, but everybody else knows it?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good question. Would you rather? They always say ignorance is bliss, you know?
Yeah, not knowing.
Not knowing.
But then, if you don't think you're crazy, and everybody else knows you're crazy, you have people telling you, like, the thoughts that you're having are not relevant, you're crazy, you're out of your mind, like, and people just brush you off your whole life because you're just speaking gibberish, but you think that you're speaking, like, you think that what you're saying is valid. So, you know, you're crazy, but you'll drive yourself crazy in your head,
Right.
because then you start thinking you're crazy, but you're telling, like, your whole life you're telling yourself you're not crazy, but because everybody brushes you off and, like, doesn't accept what you're saying because you are crazy, you start thinking you're crazy in your head. And then the question is, if you think you're crazy and you try to change it, do you end up becoming normal or a different kind of crazy?
So, if you're crazy just because...
This is crazy, by the way.
This is pretty crazy. It's pretty wild stuff. If you're crazy because you're being you, and you have to change you to be normal,
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of just confining with society.
Yeah.
I'd almost want to be myself. Even though, I mean, if I knew I was crazy, but it's like if people told you were crazy, then you would know you're crazy.
Yeah. But also, if you
just didn't know you're
if
crazy,
you knew that you were crazy, don't you think that you would try to, like,
change it? I mean, like
change yourself? Either way, I feel like you would end up being not crazy, unless it's something that you just literally couldn't help.
I mean, there's a difference between a psychopath and a crazy person, right?
Crazy.
Obviously,
I think crazy just means like what you're saying, like things that you say on a daily basis just don't make any sense. Like,
okay, yeah, psychopaths, they actually make really good sense sometimes.
yeah, psychopaths, they do things with their own explanations that, like, psychopaths do things.
They do things normally.
They do unethical things,
but
with their
in a
own
normal
verified
manner.
their own verified explanations.
They don't have like a boundary of, you know, like what's right and wrong.
Yeah. You know, a psychopath will go to court after killing 25 people and be like, it was justified though. Like, there's no reason for me to feel remorse because what I did is completely fine.
Yeah.
That's psychopath.
Now, so kind of like a question. What if? All right. So the question, your question was like, I mean, bounce off my question. What if would you rather be crazy and not have people, or would you rather be crazy? Oh, sorry. Can you say the question again? Sorry, forgot.
Is it? Am I saying your question?
No, just repeat your question.
So my question was, would you rather be crazy and know it, or would you rather be crazy and not know it?
Right.
And then I just added on, like,
yeah.
If you were crazy and you didn't know, people would just brush you off.
Now, the spin-off to that is, what happens when society goes crazy? We accept it as society.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lyric that I heard in one song. So, because when one person goes crazy, people call them out as being crazy.
Yeah.
But what happens when society goes crazy?
Yeah, it's
Who's there to call them out?
It's like that concept in school where it's like, so they had everybody, there was a rumor going, or there was always the rumor, it's never been proven, or like, I've never had anybody tell me if it's right or wrong, but like, if the substitute teacher was more than like 60 minutes late to class, then you could just leave. Or if the teacher's more than 60 minutes late to class, you could leave. And like, everybody, like, you know, if it did happen, everybody would be like, oh, well, we could leave right now, it's been 60 minutes. And then you know, if one person is saying it, then the whole class is like, no way, we're not doing that. But then if everybody's like, let's do it, you know, they can't catch all of us, then it's like automatically something that everybody's more willing to do.
Right. And so stuff we think would be crazy in our world today. What happens if that becomes a normal thing? Is that okay? So say, like, let's just I think.
I'd say yes, because if you think about it, like slang, you know, the first time somebody used a slang word, you know, that sounds like gibberish. But then, you know, it takes one other person. It takes one more person to catch on to what's being said, and then all of a sudden, everybody, it's a known word that, like, there's slang words that have been added to the dictionary. I can't say any off the top of my head, but I know, like selfie.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm talking about, like, what if it? I mean, that is. So what if society, instead of, like, not necessarily crazy, because there's obviously things going to happen in the future that will become normal that we just can't fathom today. But what about, like, things that, like, I'm trying to think of something that's not going to be, like, bad, but kind of like, so for example, a lot of parents today, or a lot of kids' parents today are divorced now. 20, 30 years ago, that wasn't so common.
That was unheard of.
It was really unheard of.
Yeah.
This is kind of society going crazy in a sense.
Yeah.
Is it okay that now what if something else in the future happens where, you know, we begin to get more and more crazy in that sense, not necessarily crazy in you know,
like crazy to a sense where there's no parents anymore, or no marriage anymore, like people,
right, no marriage anymore,
you know, is getting divorced becomes so common that people are just like, well, let's not even get married, because, like, that's already happening. You have couples who are together for, you know,
but
30 years.
You have these couples that are, well, they're not, I don't know what they're called, polyamoral relationships,
polyamorous,
something like that, where you be dating like 5 people at the same time, and you're kind of like, like is, so if society starts doing that, who's there to call out saying that's not right? Even though I guess, like, it'd be like, I just don't know.
I think that social media makes it a lot easier for that to change, because it's so much easier. Like, you know, back in the day, everything was so far and in between that, like, if you wanted to go cheat on somebody, you had to go out of your way to do it.
Right. Now it's just, dude, Tinder.
Yeah.
Hop on your phone.
Like, back in the day, you know, when you chose your significant other and you moved out of your parents' house and you got your own piece of land, you know, that's your piece of land, and, you know, if you screw that up, then you have nothing else.
Right. What do you think that does to the mental, though? Because as humans, we are, when we find someone we love, you know, we want to lock in that relationship between the two people, right?
Yeah.
When you get rid of this solid lock between two people, and now we're losing this lock to where we can accept more people into our bodies.
Well, you can already see what it's done. Like,
and it's terrible for the kids. It's terrible for the kids.
That is why Tinder exists right now. It's for people who either have given up or aren't looking for an actual connection. That's really what Tinder is. Yeah, you know, there's occasional situations where you go find a Tinder hookup and then you fall in love, you know, based off of pillow talk afterwards.
It happens. I'm not going to deny that. Yeah. You know, you can't find your soulmate on Tinder, but
it's
99%.
It's becoming socially acceptable to just meet up to get rid of an urge and move on. And
I feel like that's just, I feel like that is a toxic thing in our society. I really do. I don't think that's something we should be.
Yeah.
All right. So was that my question here? I mean, actually, that kind of bounced back.
It was your question that started off. You're asking something about being crazy, and it ended up branching off. But we can move on instead of going back to that. Just a little, like, I think my next two are just like some quick, like, oh, yeah. So there are more nipples in the world than people.
Wow.
Yeah. There's 4 nipples in this room right now. Yeah, the cat left, so there's 4 nipples in this room.
Oh,
No,
now he's back. There's definitely more nipples in this room now.
And we're just 2 people. So, like, without going into like amputations and all that, and like deformities.
Oh, that's another one.
Huh.
You know, the average amount of legs a person has, it's less than 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, without going into deformities and amputations and whatnot, there's like if amputations and deformities didn't work, then there are double, or they weren't a thing, then there are double the amount of nipples in the world than there are humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep. And I'm just gonna jump into my last question, or my last kind of quick topic
Right.
before we do one more of yours. If a bunch of cats jump on top of each other, is it still called a dog pile?
I mean, if we call it a dog pile when humans do it, why can't we call it a dog pile when cats do it?
But why don't we call it a human pile?
I mean, if we're calling it a human pile, then we could call it a cat pile. If we call it a human pile a dog pile, then call it cat pile a dog pile.
Yep, you're right. I mean, dog pile is not based off of, or a dog pile by definition is not a pile of dogs. It's a pile of something, a lot of something.
It's like the Americans are very good at using anything besides proper measurements.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's about couch length, about 2 cars away.
Yeah.
It's about a 40 distance drive.
Yeah, I'll be like, my backyard is like a football field and a half.
Yeah. I mean, like the laundry, it's a dog pile.
Yeah, if you talk to somebody in like Europe, they're constantly using measurements. Like they'll say, for me, I could be like, if I get a really good running start, I could jump like the length of an average car. But somebody in Europe be like, if I get a really good running start, I could jump about 3 meters.
Oh, it's
like
true.
It's the same thing, but like they like are always talking about measurements and specifics.
Yeah,
and
the
I'm
specific
just like,
amounts. And Americans just like, we use objects as measurements. I mean, just because like we know how big something is. Like you say a number, if number goes past your brain.
When you see this phone and you think about comparing it to the size of something else.
Oh yeah.
You know
Oh yeah.
Exactly. What
Exactly.
you're comparing it to.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Your last question, because I gotta
Alright.
let the dog back in.
Okay. I was really gonna write down here. I forgot what it was. All right, this is a good one. It's not the one I saw, but if we need to follow rules at all costs, then why do we make exceptions to bend these rules? So I guess like just like rules and rules in society.
Like, why do you go to court and you can get off with a lesser sentence?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's because rules are meant to be followed, but can be broken based off of different moral situations.
That's a good answer.
So, like, for example, yes, I may have accidentally killed somebody with my car, but it was because somebody was chasing me, trying to run me off the road. It was an accident.
Right. Or I mean, like, you shot someone because they had a knife to your stomach.
Yeah.
Or throat.
So, you're still getting punished because, you can't technically shoot somebody who
You can't technically take someone's life, but if you're protecting your own.
Yeah. Or, like, if it's a home invasion and somebody comes in with a knife. Is that true? I heard that. Okay, I heard that if somebody comes in your house with a knife and is attacking you, or like coming at you, you can't, and you have a gun, you can't shoot them because they have a knife.
So it depends a lot on the state and the state's rules with that. There's some states that have what's called a castle doctrine, meaning if someone, I could be wrong.
You can't.
Don't quote me on this on YouTube, but
you're right about that. If somebody is in your house, you can't shoot them unless there's a threat.
Right. Well, in some states, other states, like I think I'm not an expert on this, so don't quote me. But I think in other states like Texas, if someone's on your property and you tell them to fuck off and they don't fuck off, you can just shoot them.
Yeah.
They don't even have to be perceiving a threat. I think if they're just on your property, and at least if you give them a warning to it's private property, they don't.
That might be like some Canada stuff, but yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like Texas and a lot of the least gun restricted
It
states.
sounds like something that we call like the property line rule.
I think it's called the castle doctrine. It's because like castle, your house.
No, I know for a fact that the castle doctrine means that you.
Fucking dumbass.
I know for a
Oh my
fact
God.
that the castle doctrine is, what I said, that if
so-
somebody's in your house, you can't assault them with deadly force unless
they're using deadly
they're
force.
unless they're actively trying to.
I need to do more research on this. But yeah.
Almost said, come here, Tank.
He's scared now.
I'm gonna show you my cat.
Why does his lower belly hang so low? Nah, they none of them want you.